Tell me about the therapeutic areas that you focus on now and the ones you're most excited about.
The therapeutic areas that I focus on right now are mainly in adult metabolic diseases, type 2 diabetes, exciting things happening in NAFLD-NASH, obesity trials, dyslipidemia, and a few others, vaccines and migraines. But most of the therapeutic areas I'm involved in are type 2 diabetes and obesity studies.
So, how long have you been a PI? And then follow up, I want to ask you if you've got any sort of fun anecdotes or interesting asides or things that have happened in your experience as a PI.
Yeah, I've been a PI for about 18 years now. I would say during the COVID times is an interesting time to be a PI, and I felt like I learned a lot during that time. I learned a lot from the subjects, from the whole change and how we do clinical research and whatnot. But there was this one guy who he was a young Black man from Compton, and during the COVID trials, we also had obesity trials. So it's an interesting mixed match of subjects that would enroll in different trials. And at that time, he said that he just recently came out as gay to his family, and he was ostracized. And so he had to move by himself to downtown LA and live by himself, And so with the obesity trials, I mean, they're 1 year or longer durations. And I was wondering why he wasn't losing weight. And in the beginning, he was really kind of just, like not really opening up. But in the end of it, when he was able to relay that story to me, and to my staff, he really flourished, and he actually lost weight. I mean, I didn't know he was on placebo or a drug, but at the end of the day, over and over again, I saw that once, especially at that time, that people really do need a connection, and then once you are able to identify some of the core emotional reasons why people overeat, why people gain weight, and even if just your presence alone, or acknowledgement, can actually really help people lose weight. So I was really amazed to see it firsthand how emotional overeating affected the results of some of the people in these types of trials, and in general how connecting to people in a time that we are such in need of connecting really helped as well keep our patients and subjects engaged and maintained in trials. So that was an interesting time.
That's a great answer. I love that. Let's talk about shifting gears a little bit. There's this one and done issue where the percentages are pretty high. It's like 25, 30% of PIs do one and then they're done. They get out for whatever reason. They decide to not do a second trial. Why do you think that's happening?
I mean, without question, I think I'll have more questions kind of to throw back, but I mean, you're talking about like industry career PIs versus academic PIs?
I think it's sort of the group. I mean, sort of combined, like just the number. Like tough studies have shown that the number of PIs, and it's gotten a little better recently, but it's still pretty bad, pretty high rate of turnover.
Sure. I
Dropping out.
mean, the first answer is I don't necessarily know the data. I can tell you from my experience and my peers, who have been one and done, and based on being a PI for this long, I think in general it's the same, reasons why people quit. Like people quit people quit circumstances, and people quit for better opportunities. And so I think a lot of times now, like in just my current experience where I've mentored new PIs, like I think that the whole people quit people is really something we have to look into more, is because like you have to really preempt. It's a different world, being a career investigator, industry trial versus academic. So the culture, preempting people and the culture of how things are can really help in terms of retention. What I mean by that is that someone who is in family practice for a while, for example, decides to take shifts and be a PI in an early phase, and like get bombarded by certain operationals changes and a lot of studies that might be overwhelming to someone, but if there's no support from another perspective, from another investigator point of view, they might just say, okay, I'm done with this. The other thing is that a lot of people do this work as a stepping stone to like a career in like CRO or pharma. So it does open up a lot of opportunities for us. Even for me, I had opportunities to go CRO pharma in the early 2000s when I was a fellowship trained in clinical research even. So a lot of people from the outside use it as a stepping stone, and also more like lifestyle too. We kind of know like people quit people and systems in general.
All right, speaking of people and support, what's it like working for a firm like Velocity? How does it help as a PI in terms of infrastructure and overall trial support?
Sure. I mean, it's currently, we're going through a lot of like growth pains, but it is an exciting time because ultimately the goal is try to get to these trials to move forward and get them done more efficiently. There's really that more support infrastructure behind it when it comes to more centralized regulatory systems, more centralized use of electronic medical records, and more support and collegial discussions when it comes to different therapeutic areas, So I think that systemically speaking, it's the next step, to really succeeding and meeting the pipeline where it's at. I mean, there's so many more trials now than ever. It's amazing the numbers of trials out there. So, but yeah, there's just more support infrastructure in terms of regulatory systems and how to sustain small sites with helps of big sites, etc.